Hey, you guys, welcome to Monday Night Empower Team Call. My name is Kylee Davila, for those of you that don't know me. And tonight we're going to be talking about social media and branding. And I did make a little PowerPoint to kind of show you guys. And I do want to say disclaimer, it worked perfectly earlier. And sometimes the slides get stuck for a second. So I did want to say that. Okay, so can you guys see this here? Can you see it good, Nat? You can't see? Hopefully. Okay, now can you? It says, okay, perfect. This is like my first time, but I really felt like with this, like some content was crucial. So here we go. All right, so social media and branding and how to attract people while still staying true and authentic to you. Okay, so when you show up authentically, you're going to build trust with your audience. And this is very, very important in this business because people are confiding in you and sharing things that sometimes like they don't even share with their significant other. Like they share some really personal things with you. And so you really need to build that connection so they can trust you, so that they can feel like when you ask them questions, they can share with you what's really going on. So you also give people permission to do the same. And I really love it because Tova recently shared some quote or something that says like, I just want to be me, to where other people feel so like they feel so comfortable to just show up and be themselves. Like they don't need to dress a certain way or do anything extra. Like they can just show up to be them. And so you also walk in your God-given purpose. We are all unique. Everybody is born with your own gifts and talents. So don't try to be your upline or your downline or your sideline. You can definitely get inspiration or go look at those people that are successful, but just don't try to be who they are. Like stay true to you. Stay true to who God created you to be. And just know like you're the only you in the whole universe. And that is like your superpower. So really hone in on that. You also inspire and motivate others. I really wanted to share here. I had somebody comment on one of my posts, and I think it was meant as a compliment, but they said, oh, you could sell anything. And it really just, I was like, I don't know how to respond to that. But I think maybe I didn't open up enough to that person or share some of my struggles or something, because maybe she thinks that like I have something special or I don't, go through the hard stuff and I'm still showing up. Like I almost feel like it just discredits the hard work that's there, or, that I do struggle with things on a daily basis. And so when you are just 100% you and you just show up, you inspire and you motivate others because they know, okay, she's normal, just like me. There's nothing extra special. Like God didn't sprinkle something there that he didn't sprinkle over here for me. If she can do it, I can do it. So it inspires and it motivates others. Like they know, watching your journey and your story, that they can do this too. They also avoid feeling sold to. They're not another cell. When you're just so authentic, they can see your heart. They, again, like they trust you. You're in this together. There's a real connection there. And so they know that it's not about numbers. You're not after another cell, that you actually care about them. So they don't feel like they're a cell to you. They don't feel like you're just looking at them as a number. And then also just the psychological and the social benefits for you. And the list is super long, but just some things: higher self-esteem, greater well-being, enhanced work performance, like better romantic relationships. The list was like really long. So be 100% you. Oh, it turned good. This is where I was like having trouble. Nat, can you see like all the pictures, or are you guys on it? Yeah. Okay. So branding yourself. I know now, now that you may be thinking, okay, so be me, but like, where do I start? How do I brand myself? How do I show up? So start with picking 5 things that make you you and post about them. And then I shared over here some photos. I didn't share like a picture of me with my products or like a selfie, because I actually do that a lot, but I wanted to show you guys like some other things about me that maybe you don't see or that I try to share that's other than just like my face or with my pink drink. So the first thing is my most favorite thing about the business is just empowering others. I love it. I love that in this business, you can look at every single person and that you're able to see them at like their highest self. You envision them and like, man, I can see her doing this. Like, I love that. That's my most favorite part. Is that good grammar? Most favorite. So number one. Number two, I have Bella up here because I really love little girl clothes. Like, it's been a new obsession of mine for about a year. And I have connected with like over 1,000 moms just by posting and sharing and stuff. And it's like crazy. I have this community that I never thought I would have. And I really like it. It's like a little hobby of mine, but it's just like so much fun. But I also get to show like little parts of me and connect with people. And the third thing I have is like running. I really enjoy running. So I'll post a lot in my stories. I don't really post on my feed, but when Noah was born, I used to share, running in the stroller with him and now Bella, and sometimes Noah gets to ride his bike. And so I really like that. And then the fourth thing is we really like to camp or be adventurous or go on trips or, maybe Ruby retreat or leaders retreat, convention, all of the things. Like, I love to travel and I love the adventure and just posting. So share some things that you're passionate about. And then the fifth thing, I love to share how Plexus goes beyond me. It like goes to my family. So like my husband, my kids, sharing things like that. Those are just some 5 things that I chose to do, but you guys can look here. And the reason I put bread, which it might sound weird, but about 5.5 years ago when I got started, Fallon used to make homemade bread like every day. And I don't know, maybe she still does, but she used to post about it. And it was the most bizarre thing because I never knew people made fresh bread every day. But it was just something that like, man, that was really good. She loved it. That was authentic to her. And it really stood out. Like, here I am over 5 years later, and I still remember that. So just think of things like on this list or whatever that you really like, and you can always change it. Like, different stages of your life, things are going to change. And then the 3 E's. So before you post or you're putting content together, ask, is this going to educate somebody? Is this going to entertain somebody? Or is this going to encourage / add value? So always use those 3 things to kind of guide your post. Like, do a check. Stay different. So if you feel weird, good, just post it. If you feel like, okay, I don't know if I should post this, you can always ask your upline. There's several times I've asked Natalie, hey, can you look at this? Is this okay? Maybe it's something different, or it's just I'm posting about something new, like sharing. So if you have, like, you want to ask somebody, just send it to your upline. But if it's just because it's different, it's okay. People like different. People like creative. It like catches their eye. So just kind of hone in on your creativeness or whatever makes you different and then share it. I always think of Cody Helmer. I'm sure all of you are friends with her, but she's very different and I really, really like her. Take pride in branding yourself, which really kind of goes hand in hand with staying different. Just know, like, hey, what my story is special. Like, I'm going to show up and I'm going to share. And I'm like really proud of who I am in my journey. So just really taking pride in branding yourself. And then your struggles are your strengths. So tell your story. So whether you are Cody, who has really like stories that they're like tearjerker stories, from her childhood. Maybe you don't have experiences like that, but every single one of us have struggles that we have gone through or that we are going through. And so making sure, like, let's be open and vulnerable and share some of those parts. Like, we don't have to be perfect and all put together. But then I want to follow it with what you post is who you attract. So making sure we're not posting like, wow, something else happened to me. Woe is me. Like, when we're sharing those struggles, we want to make sure that we share how we overcame them or how we are overcoming them. So it's not like a victim mindset. It's like a victor. Like, we are victors. This is what we went through or what we're going through. And this is why we're on top or the journey. So keep that in mind, because we don't want to attract like those that are victim mindsets or negative people. this is where I may have to do. Okay. Okay, so people have an image of you based on what you post and how you interact with people. So this is whether you're in network marketing or you're not. People have an image of you. It's just what we do as humans. So people are going to have an image no matter what. So what image do you want people to see? Ask your upline, hey, can you go check out my social media and then get some honest feedback? You also have to be open to some constructive criticism. Don't take offense if they share something. That's how we learn and grow. So just ask and then be open to receiving any feedback that they have for you. And then courage is contagious. Every time we are brave with our lives, we make the people around us a little braver. Brene Brown, which I thought went perfect with what we're talking about. But then also we just finished her book and I really like her. Okay. So social media 101, the do's. Do promote a healthy lifestyle. We're not perfect. Sometimes we're going to go grab fast food or eat a meal that's not the healthiest, but we don't want to promote unhealthy things. So don't promote you eating a Big Mac with fries. Maybe you're on a road trip and that's literally all they have or whatever. Maybe you're eating that, but don't post about it. And it's not that we're trying to portray something that we're not, but like if we're in this business, we really should care about overall health and gut health, and we should be trying to better ourselves. And so we're not posting like super unhealthy recipes or just like super unhealthy things or Burger King or McDonald's or something. Just don't post it. Be professional. Have a nice profile picture, preferably you, but you can have your family. It doesn't have to be just you, but just remember, like, your Facebook is your business. So what people see, like, that's what you're using. This is your tool. This is your business that you paid $34.95 or $39.95 or maybe $9.95, maybe $1. This is your business. So just keep that in mind. Crisp, clear photos. No blurry photos. Don't post them. Be consistent. Being consistent is crucial. It also goes back to how people can trust you, or like if people can trust you. Sometimes people get started and they make a post or something and then they automatically throw in the towel because they say, nobody wants to join me. Why is nobody, I'm super excited about this journey. Why isn't anybody else? But the fact is, people are constantly starting and stopping things all the time, you guys, like all the time. So I think when people first see you start something, they're really in the back of their mind asking, okay, is she going to be here next week still, looking for health and or on this health and happiness journey? Or is this like a one-time thing? Is she going to be here next month? Is she going to be here in 6 months? So just making sure you're very consistent, because it's really important. Share testimonies. Info tells, but stories sell. So making sure that we are sharing some testimonies. And down at the bottom, I shared like an example of one, making sure that those pictures are really nice also, like no blurry ones. Even if it's a good testimony, see if you can find a different picture. So you can use the wording, but just no blurry images. It's a really big turnoff. Okay, pain points. And then right under it, I stuck these two together because I think they do kind of go hand in hand. The reason I say pain points is because sometimes there are pain points that don't pertain to us. So just keep that in mind. Other people go through things that we don't, but then also our pain points. So what does this opportunity allow us to do? So maybe prior to this, we could never travel because we couldn't afford it, or we didn't have time freedom, but now we're able to travel more. Or maybe before we couldn't buy healthy groceries. We were like living on ramen noodles or something, or maybe that was back in college days. I don't know. But anyways, now you can buy healthy groceries. Maybe before you couldn't work from home, but now you do. Maybe you were like drowning in debt. Maybe now you paid off some debt, or you're debt free. So just consider those pain points and then speak to them, share yours, because these two things right here are casting vision. Like they cast vision like nothing else, because this really lets people envision themselves and their current pain points and then be like, man, I don't have to live this way. Or like, man, my life could look different. Like, look at her story. This is where she was at and look where she's at now, or look where she's going. So just making sure that we are keeping that in mind. Use graphics with your posts. Statistically speaking, I don't really know why, the science behind it, but if people are scrolling and there's no photo with your content, they just keep scrolling. Like, it needs to have something that stops the post. Post promotions. I use this one because it still looks so nice, like this graphic of Natalie. But people need to be excited. They need to see what's happening on your team. They need to see success. That's what's contagious and what's really going to draw people in. So making sure you are posting promotions and recognition. And then also, as a leader, this is like, people work harder for praises than raises. So it does work for you being a leader, but then also people who are watching, it's really important. So stories. And then I have here, have a cup of coffee with your audience every day. So you can say like tea or coffee. And what I mean by this is the story that you're going to share on Instagram or your story on Facebook. Let your audience see you. Whatever you want to share for the day, just get on there, let them see your face. You don't have to have your makeup on. You can be barefaced. But if you were going to go with your friend to the coffee shop, you guys are going to sit face to face and have coffee or tea or whatever you like. Just have that for your audience every day, because that's really what builds that relationship. And then remember, what you're doing is duplicating down. So keeping that in mind, everything duplicates down. So here I have, the crisp, clear photo. I have Natalie's picture because I really like, she kind of incorporates it in her life. Like, she's in the Keys. And so she's incorporating plexus into her life and daily, like what she does. And I think that's really nice and important too. Okay, the don'ts. Like, let's just say, hands down, don't use Pinterest. You can use Pinterest if you want to find a really good quote. That's a good place, or recipe for dinner. Just don't use Pinterest. There are some nice ones. To be honest, there are nice ones, but it's not you just can't duplicate this down. You need to use our team's resources, because for one, they're really good and they're all in one place on Facebook. But you just can't tell somebody in your downline, like, hey, go to Pinterest. Just don't use the bad ones. When they're new, they don't know. So just don't do it. Just tell them, go to the One Graphics page. There's plenty of pictures, or use a selfie. That's always best, to use a selfie with your products, or, whatever. But all of these I grabbed off of Pinterest, and they're just no's, like, don't do it. And then here, don't label a pic, write about it. And what I mean by that is, okay, I'm going to use Natalie. Like, she's been speaking about putting her kids in karate and how that's like super cool for her. So instead of just posting a picture at karate and saying, well, we just finished karate, that's just so vague. Like, let people in. Why is that important? Why does that mean so much to your family? Like, man, I'm so thankful that we have the time freedom, or we have the resources or the funds to now put our kids in karate. Like, this has been a really special time for Levi as he kind of like comes out of his shell, or as a family, things like that. Like, really let people in. Like, just don't be vague. You want to post a picture, but then explain more. Why does that picture mean like a lot to you? Don't puke plexus on people. And this is, it's like, if you go to your Facebook and all you see are plexus posts, that's puking plexus. Or if it's just really a lot of information, it's puking plexus. You don't want to be salesy. You don't want to post these graphics. You don't want to just post plexus, plexus, plexus. People are going to start to say, where is she? Is she even there? Like, all I see are these salesy graphics. So making sure you're using a ratio, do 2 personal posts, and that can be whatever you want, and then post a plexus post. So making sure you really are strategically posting and not doing too much so that they can still see you. So do not screenshot pics, or if you have to screenshot it, make sure you edit it down to where you don't see like the top and the bottom, but you can just hold your finger down and save it. In case you didn't know that, you can. But just don't screenshot. or use the 3D effect. I've seen that and it's a cool effect, but I think when it's coming across with like your Plexus post, it's really distracting. So when people scroll down, it's like, don't use the 3D, just post a picture that's clean, clear, crisp, professional. You want to catch people's attention, and you want the attention to be on whatever you're trying to convey or like get across. So don't say you work at Plexus or post your rank, which you can be so proud of, but that's just language nobody else recognizes unless you're another Plexus ambassador. And by the way, don't use ambassador. I don't know if you can see on that top little picture, it says independent ambassador number, blah, blah, blah. Don't say you're an ambassador. Don't post your link. Just don't do it, because first of all, you want people to contact you. They don't know what they need. They are not the expert. They're going to go on there. They're going to order some random stuff, and you want them to contact you so you can point them in the right direction. But then also their first impression when they come to your profile, if you have a link, they're going to be like, oh, she's another girl that sells something. She's going to want something from me. It's just not a good first impression. So post things about you in your bio. Just don't say you work at Plexus or post your link. Okay. Don't use the share button for posts, because when you see something you really like and you just click share, you're disconnecting from your audience, because it no longer is coming from you. It's coming from somebody else, like an outside source. So whenever you're sharing something, make sure you copy and paste it. Don't use the share button. It just disconnects from the audience. And then don't be negative, because the world is really negative. And this is not to say you cannot have beliefs or stand for something, because you can. It's just, you really want to make sure this is like a really warm and welcoming place for people. Like people they need to come here and feel like, wow, she's always positive. I'm always getting so much good. Like she adds value to my life. Like I'm not another news resource or Debbie Downer. Just keep it positive, because there's a lot of negative in the world. And then to end it, before you post, ask yourself, is this consistent with my brand? So those are kind of like some things to think about. And really what I had for content, I had like more things, but I didn't know how much time, and I'm glad, because I'm looking at the time and we have a few minutes. But really, those are some tips, or my top tips for what to do and don't do. Do you have anything to add, Nat?
Nothing. That was actual gold. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm just glad that those slides worked, because they got stuck a little bit. I don't know. I just remember, I'm like, I got to figure out how this goes. But okay, well, I'm so glad that you guys were on tonight, and thank you guys. And I'll see you on the next call. Bye, guys.